So it looks like from sources all over the internet, the Nintendo Switch is going to have a whopping, yes, a whopping 720p screen only. But let's not get our panties in a bunch here. This may not actually be too bad of an idea. First of all, this is going to be good for Nintendo to cut the price down. If they had to put a 1080p display in here, it is going to cost them a little bit more money. So 720p will help Nintendo keep the cost down for themselves. And also for the consumer, this may not be too bad of an idea, just because if you look at the Nintendo Switch trailer, it looks like this thing is going to have some type of fan inside of it. So it looks like the battery life is not going to be too good in the first place. So if they go with a 720p screen, we should be getting about 1 or 2 more hours of battery life out of this thing compared to a 1080p display. Also, most of the time or half of the time, depending on what kind of person you are, you will be playing this thing on a TV anyway. And most likely when you have this connected to the dock, it's probably going to put the games close to 1080p or 900p, close to 1080p. So it's not really going to matter that the screen is 720p. And for most people anyway, 720p is not really going to be that big a deal, because the 3DS and the Vita aren't even 720p, and for this thing to be 720p, it's going to be just fine. Would 1080p be really good to have in this? Yes, of course, 1080p would be good for this thing, but if it means that we're going to get 1 or 2 more hours of battery life and Nintendo makes a profit, I'm all for that, just because, as we know, Nintendo hasn't really did well when it comes to Wii U, and I would really hate for Nintendo just to close up or not do well. So we really need Nintendo to do well to keep producing, and it's good for us because we'll get more battery life. Also, it looks like the Nintendo Switch may actually have a resistive touchscreen instead of a capacitive touchscreen it's had in the past. So no more stylus, it looks like, on this one, but I'm all for that, just because all their handhelds they have made in the past, including the Wii U gamepad, have been a resistive touchscreen, and resistive touchscreens just aren't the best when it comes to input. And in 2017, why would they want to go with a resistive touchscreen? They're better off going with a capacitive touchscreen, the one that's found in smartphone and tablets nowadays. A multi-touch screen would just be very nice. We would be able to see some developers do some really good things if they were going to make some Switch games that are just specifically for the touchscreen. If those games are even going to be possible, where they only use the touchscreen only. Also, it looks like the models, or the base model, may only be 32 gig, and honestly, I don't think that's really a good idea, because Nintendo is big in the virtual console market. They do have a lot of old retro games you can buy on the eShop. Also, it looks like some of the games, at least the game cartridges made for the Switch, are going to be 16 gig, and if you went all digital with the Switch, it looks like 32 gig will only hold 2 games, which does not make any sense. But what Nintendo could do is probably go the micro SD card route, where they're going to give us more storage. Because let's think about it. Micro SD cards now go up to, I think, 256 gig. I think SanDisk or somebody out there does make a 1 terabyte that's not on the market yet. But if they went 32 gig and they also went the micro SD card route, that would not be a bad idea. But they can't just give us 32 gig of storage. In 2017, 32 gig of storage just does not make any sense. So hopefully they'll either give us a micro SD card slot, which I'm pretty sure they will, or they'll give us different variants of the system, kind of like how they do with the SKUs with the PlayStation and the Xbox. Maybe we'll have a 32 gig, 64 gig, and 126 or something like that. Hopefully that will. And also, it looks like the controllers for this system are going to function kind of like the Wiimotes on the Wii. They're going to have some IR technology in them or whatnot. So when the Switch is hooked up to the dock, you can point it at the dock, and it'll play. The remotes will act like a Wiimote with a little cursor or whatnot. But those are just some of the rumors or roundups for the Nintendo Switch. Anyway, guys, peace out. I'll see you guys later in my next video. I'm out, guys.